Hi, friend. Welcome back to another episode of Just Jenna. Today, you're getting Just Jenna. We have no guest speakers today. I am so excited to be sharing a very special episode with you guys, one that I have had requested a few times recently from some of my followers, some of my clients, asking me, Jenna, why do you feel so light in your business now? What has changed? What has shifted? We want to hear the behind the scenes story. And we want to learn and uncover what you went through over the last year, 2, 3 years. Okay. So, for those of you who do not know me, I'm an online business coach, expansion revenue coach. I help people build out courses and coaching products that scale online using social media and email marketing. And I am so excited to be here with you guys today. So, this episode is about freedom. It's the kind that comes when you stop chasing what looks successful and you start creating what feels more aligned in your heart. You guys all probably have that feeling in your heart where you know that this is just what you're meant to do, where you're meant to be. And I had felt this pull, this tug, something wasn't right over the last couple of years. Now, to kind of backtrack, I got into the online world about 3 years ago. I'm about to hit my 3-year anniversary in the next month. And I had no idea what I was getting into. I was a real estate agent. I was so happy with what I was doing, but I accidentally fell into the space. There were people asking me, how are you selling so many houses? How are you so successful in real estate when you moved to a brand new area, didn't know anyone? And I kept telling them, I'm using social media. I'm using social media. And people kept asking me more and more questions. And that's how I really launched my first product. But I had no idea what was going to transpire. I didn't know that my page was going to grow by hundreds of thousands of people. I didn't know that I was going to start having tens of hundreds of people wanting to take my classes and courses every month. And it really grew quicker than I could even imagine. Now, things that have shifted over the last 3 years is one, my husband and I, we also build houses. My husband is a home builder. We have flipped, we have built from the ground up, we have done remodels for the last several years. And there was a time about a year ago, actually a year ago today, which is weird. We closed on the sale of our dream home, meaning we sold our dream home to someone else who gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. And we just really felt peace in our heart that God was wanting us to look at something else. And I think when I say something else, I think really it was like letting go of not holding on to material items, even though it was really special for us and we really wanted to hold on to it. And we learned a lot through that. And I could do a whole nother episode on letting go of that house and everything we went through to get to that point and where we're at now. But I'll just say this, that nothing happens by accident, and we are in a much sounder space financially because we were willing to take some of those really big sacrifices. And we ended up moving to Newport Beach for 6 months, which was so much fun. We had a blast. We learned a lot. We made a little bit of money off of selling that house that we bought there and fixed it up a bit and moved back to Boise, Idaho. And so here we are. And during that time, there was a period, there was this moment, this pressure that was building, and I was performing for the masses. I felt like I wasn't connecting deep enough with the people that I wanted to because I was so focused on fulfilling this expectation that people had set for me that I had to keep everything else in and just keep pushing my numbers. For what? For what? Like, I didn't understand. The more money I made, the less happy I was. I didn't understand how this could be. I thought that money made you happier to an extent, right? And I realized that it's not just about making more money. It's about the way in which you're making the money and the energy around the money you're making. And so I hit a total bottom moment just under a year ago, the end of 2024 to the beginning of 2025. And my husband, the sweetest soul, my best friend, said, Jenna, I need you to take a break. And I'm like, but I can't take a break. I'm at the height of my career. I'm having 6-figure months on repeat. At this point, I had done organically $100,000 to $200,000 months on repeat with a very, very high profit margin and very little to no help. I'm not prideful of that. I'm not proud of that with the no help part, but that was just the reality of my situation. I had gone through a few assistants. Things hadn't really worked out for me. I didn't feel peace about bringing a team on at that time. I'm glad I didn't in hindsight, because I was about to take a massive pause in my business and I didn't even know. So I sold and launched a brand new program in December of 2024. And January 1st, 2025, I refunded every single person who signed up for that program or paused their account. And I walked away from tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of income. There was guilt, there was fear, there was anxiety that came from the unknown of what was going to unfold. But on the other side of that, there was a peace that surpassed all understanding. My health had been crashing and telling me, Jenna, no more. My emotions, my spiritual journey was draining. I was feeling like at the end of every day, I had nothing to give my family. And I was there, but I wasn't present, right? My body was there, but my mind was somewhere else. And so that took me to Newport Beach. We had moved into our house. We got to settle in there. We got to sign our kids up for extracurricular activities. We were the coaches of one of their soccer teams. We volunteered in their classes. We went on fun trips. We took them to Disneyland. We took them to the zoo. We took them to Legoland. We did all the fun things. And we had a blast. It felt like it was seriously a gift from God. Although our living conditions were very drastic, we were living in a 1960s original home that had never been updated, that needed tons of work. We were living in, the nicest neighborhood that you could choose in Newport Beach, minutes from the beach, and a wonderful, wonderful neighborhood and experience. And so we actually loved it. A lot of people thought, oh, you must have hated California. That's why you came back to Idaho. No, we loved our time there. But ultimately, we felt the Lord bringing us back to Idaho because of, again, a piece that we were following. And we realized that that was a season for us to step away, and our faith grew immensely during that time. Now, it was very scary in other ways because my identity had been wrapped up in my job, my work, my career. And so if I wasn't doing that, who was I? What did I have to offer? What could I bring? And that brought me to the rebuild. I knew that when I was going to open back up my business, that it was going to be different this time. And so this was the end of March, beginning of April, when I started to bring on clients consistently again. And I completely simplified everything. I took away all these other offers that I had been putting on the table and pressure I had put on myself to do different things. And I focused on one program, which was my mastermind, the Inner Circle. I launched that and I had one person sign up. One. I thought I was going to sell this thing out in 2 minutes because I hadn't been coaching for 2 or 3 months and people were waiting for me. And I was honestly in shock. And you can understand the fear that can come with that when you relaunch a program and there's one person inside and now you're feeling like, wow, did I just make the biggest mistake ever by taking a step back? Now I'm wondering if I'm irrelevant, if people forgot about me, if I have no more purpose, if I need to find a different career path. And my income was so low for those couple of months rebuilding. And I ended up just continuing to put one foot in front of the other. And this is such a cool story. Every single time I felt that extreme doubt, like I'm not supposed to do this anymore because my income isn't matching my expectation, God would put someone in my life, either a past student, a current student, a mentor, a friend, someone, and just pour into me and say, Jenna, you changed my life. Or I would get a review out of nowhere that was like, I went from 20,000 months to 70,000 months because of you. And like, I couldn't even try to get those kinds of reviews if I wanted to, but I felt like they were breadcrumbs that God just kept placing in my path to remind me that you are in the right spot. And no, your business isn't bringing in $200,000 in a month right now, but that's okay. You still belong here. I still have a purpose and a plan for you, but trust me. And so I surrendered and I stopped putting my worth in what I was making every month. And I put my worth in him and his purpose and discovered that his ways are better than mine, even when we don't see it. And so I slowly started to restructure my business. I poured into investing in myself again. I did not hold back from that because I believe that when we're in those moments of maybe even grief, we're feeling despair, we're feeling like we're irrelevant, like I said, that we need others to pour into us and we need others to give us hope and to give us direction. And even More powerful is when someone has walked in your similar shoes. So now I am a resource for people who are feeling like they have to rebuild or they have to reinvent their business, or they feel like maybe they've been canceled or forgotten about and they're rebuilding. I feel really qualified now to help them. And so, as hard as it was to go through those months of very little income and feeling like people forgot about me, now I know what it's like to rebuild. And we just finished, the last couple of months having some of our best months ever in new contracts. And so, I am confident that we can build our business and our offers in a way that feels in alignment with our vision, with our long term vision of where we're going. And so, the rebuild process wasn't easy. I had to be patient, and I still have to be patient every single day, because now I'm not focused on posting for the masses anymore. To give you some context, I used to have over 100 high paying students in a month in my world. Now I may have anywhere from 20 to 25, right? Still a very amazing amount, but nothing in comparison to where I was at. And so I feel lighter, freer, so much more sustainable, more grounded, more relaxed, but also I work less. I don't have to be on as often because my hours are very focused on the time that I'm serving my students, and I have very clear boundaries of the days that I take my calls. Not only this, I'm strict in who's coming into the programs. So I don't just take anyone and everyone now. I have conversations with them ahead of time. I qualify them for different programs. I'm very strategic in the way that I bring people in, because I know that I'm committing to working with these people for the next year or even longer. And I want to make sure that we're in alignment together. And so one of the things that changed everything for me is magnetic messaging. I'm going to drop the link to this class that I did a couple weeks ago in the show notes. If you are struggling with your messaging, if you need help with who am I talking to, how am I talking to them, how can I attract the right kind of client that is going to energize me, that's going to light me up, that's going to make it feel easy to show up to work every day, you need magnetic messaging. Because I will tell you that you might be headed in a direction right now where if you would just take the tiniest little turn, right? The smallest little turn. If you're flying an airplane and you just slightly move that airplane, you end up in a totally different destination. And I believe the same thing is applied when we use messaging that is curated for our ideal client. So when I got really clear on who I was talking to, everything in my business changed. In addition to this, I focused heavily on visualization and journaling. I have been using this practice for the last 10 years. I spoke into existence the first paycheck I was going to get from my network marketing job. I declared when I was going to be able to leave my corporate job to do network marketing full time. I set a date and achieved when my husband was going to be retired from his construction business. I put into existence the entire dream home that we wanted, down to the floors and the windows and every little feature about it. And now I don't believe that we control any of this. I believe God is controlling all of this, but I also believe that He gave us a gift to dream and to write and to focus. And what I believe is what you focus on expands. So when you are focused on your business being slow and no one wants to talk with you and your views suck and your messaging is all over the place, that's usually what happens. But when we change the script and we start putting out into existence that my business is booming, there's momentum. Everything I touch, every time I talk to someone, something is expanding, something is growing. People want to work with me. That's what starts happening. And so I had to use these mantras in my life and write them down so I could visually see them. When it's out of sight, it's out of mind. Keep things on your desk, keep things in visual relationship to what you're looking for. I mean, the next house that we want to do is on my screensaver right now. And I look at it every single day. And, God's timing is going to be perfect. One thing I didn't share is in the midst of this crazy season of the last year of our life, we got to purchase our home that we're in right now, this beautiful, beautiful home in a wonderful subdivision at the end of a cul-de-sac in cash. We have no mortgage. We have no debt. And that was a goal that we had set 6 years prior. And we said by January 2026, January 1st, 2026, that's in less than 60 days, we would have a primary residence that had no mortgage. Check. We did it. Now, Of course, we have continuous dreams to want to have more property and a different home one day. And Andrew and I just love dreaming and we love building and creating. And so we do still have that desire, but I also have to have peace that God's timing is perfect. And right now, He has us in this season. He has us in a season where our expenses are low, our debt is covered, we are focused on building others up. We are able to volunteer, we're able to give back, we're able to donate, we're able to be invested in our children's lives, which is so important. And if we had all this debt and we had all this worry and stress and all of this stuff hanging over us, we wouldn't be able to be as present as we are. And so, my biggest dream is to continue to bring people with me because I don't want to do this alone. I can't even imagine how far I've come in this journey online and how we have been given a gift to impact a one-to-many approach through social media. The next thing I want to share is a lesson that I learned. Freedom doesn't come from bigger numbers. It comes from aligned priority. And so when you are aligned in your priorities, what is important to you? What do you prioritize in your life? And your actual day-to-day reflects that. That is what feels free. And for us, freedom is having location freedom, financial freedom, relationship freedom. Like we are rich in our relationships, our time. These are the things that mean more to us now than how much money we're making every single month from our online business. Now, don't get this twisted. We are still highly successful. We are contracting over $80,000 a month consecutively over the last couple of months. And we planned November to actually be our biggest month so far this year. And so our business is consistently growing and we are scaling, but we're doing it in a way that feels effortless. It feels so peaceful because I don't have to bring these people on, right? I get to partner with certain students that I want to. And I believe that success without peace is actually failure in disguise. I think there's a lot of people online who are failing in life in so many ways, but we don't view it that way because we just see how much money that their top line revenue is bringing in and they're making $10 million a month. And so they're successful. But what does it actually look like on the other end? Because for me, I know that I needed to get my health in check. I needed to get my mind in check, my faith, my family, all of these things. And now I'm coming from a place of abundance when I'm selling online. And I do believe that you can have both wealth and well-being, but it's really hard to fake feeling aligned. It's really hard to fake it. At some point, it's going to catch up with you. Because if you're not authentic, if you're not aligned in what you're doing, what you're saying, who you're speaking to, the work you're doing, something is eventually going to give. And it did for me. It doesn't mean that I don't love every single program that I did. I mean, I would pour my heart and soul into my students. Some of these students that I coached over the last couple of years went on to have incredible results and are some of the top people right now in our Stand Challenge that they're doing with Gary Vee. I mean, I am so proud of the work that I did during those last 2 years, but this third year, man, it has really taught me that there is nothing more beautiful than feeling aligned in your vision, in your life, and being willing to go slow because you will go further. You will. You will go further. My income has in the short term decreased for a long term increase. I now have 3 times what my husband would make in a year in his construction job set up for next year without even having to sell another person. And that's because I rearranged my business model to be recurring revenue based. I don't have a subscription model where it's a membership, but I bring people in instead of signing them up for 2 months or 4 months, I sign them up for 12. It's a minimum 12-month commitment to work with me in most of my programs. Some of them are shorter. It just depends on which one. But for the most part, I get recurring revenue. I get to work with the same people. I get to go deeper versus wider. And you can charge more because of this, right? You don't have to charge a lower price point when you're working with less people. You actually can charge a higher price point. It's supply and demand. So let's get into some practical takeaways since we're coming up on time. I like to keep these episodes short. Watch my magnetic messaging class if you haven't already and get clear on your person and your brand voice. The next one is join the wealth mindset class that I am doing in just a couple of weeks. I'll also link that in the show notes. Start thinking and speaking like the wealthy do. This is for people who don't have wealth and who already do. I am telling you, everyone will benefit from this class. And then the third practical takeaway is to journal daily. I want you to journal on questions like, who am I becoming? What does freedom really look like for me? Not for someone else online, not for what I, thought in the past. What does freedom and success look like for me right now? And what would it look like for me to build my business in alignment and not from anxiety? If you have been chasing freedom, but you feel trapped by your own success, this is your permission slip to rebuild lighter. I want you to send me a DM on Instagram if you watched this episode and just write the word freedom. Send me a DM and say freedom. If this resonates with you and you're curious about working with me in a deeper way, if you want to sign up for one of my coaching programs or just have a conversation to figure out if one-on-one is the better route or should I be in one of her masterminds, again, send me the word freedom in my DMs. I'll know that that means you watched the episode and we will talk more about the next steps for you. I'm going to close this out in prayer real quick. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for each listener that watched this or listened to this podcast episode today. God, would our words speak clearly to them? Would they resonate with the right person that I know even if just one person gets something out of this episode, it was worth me recording and going through the last month of uneasiness and feeling like a failure at times in order to rebuild what I feel is so much stronger and built on solid ground, as you say in your word. There's no shaky ground. It's built on solid ground because I've partnered with you to rebuild this. And I just trust that you are doing the same thing in the listener's business right now, that if they feel anxiety about any part of their business, that you would just bring that to surface right now. And in Jesus' name, that we would let that go, that they would call the person that they need to stop the partnership, that they would need to cancel or refund someone's contract. Maybe they need to hire a business coach to restructure their business and their offers and their alignment, whatever it may be. God, I pray that you would give them clarity and just discernment in what they need to do today to be in alignment in their business and in their walks with you. In Jesus' name, amen.